Hello students, let's learn English together. Today we are going to learn how to use the past continuous tense correctly. When using past continuous tense, many students get confused by the use of the verb be, such as was and were. Sometimes they also forget to add the present participle ing to the main verb that they are using. In this episode, we will look into the important elements when using the past continuous tense. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe what the past continuous tense is, illustrate the functions of the past continuous tense, and lastly, you should be able to explain the grammatical rules when using the past continuous tense. Past continuous tense indicates a continuing action. It can be something that has happened or is still happening at some point in the past. The past continuous tense is also known as the past progressive tense. This tense is formed with the verb be in the past tense plus the present participle of the main verb. For those who don't know, the present participle is the base word plus ing. For instance, sing will become singing, sleep will become sleeping, while bake will become baking. To have a clearer understanding of this rule, let's look at this example. Sarah was taking a shower. In this sentence, the verb be is was, while the word taking is the present participle for the verb take. This tells us that the action has taken place in the past. There are several situations where we can use the past continuous tense. First, we use the past continuous to talk about an action or an event that has taken place at a precise time in the past. This means that the action took place before that particular time and it went on for a short while after that. To have a better picture of this function, let's take a look at this example.
Hey Azrul, what were you doing at 6 p.m. yesterday?
I was playing football on the field.
From this sentence, we know that Azrul was on the field at 6 p.m. the day before and he was playing football with his friends. This shows that the event has taken place at a precise time in the past. Now let's look at other examples. The boy was sleeping in his room around noon. Based on this sentence, we know exactly what the boy was doing at noon. He was sleeping soundly in his room. It was raining heavily during recess. This sentence tells us about the weather at that particular moment of time. By looking at it, we know that it was raining heavily during recess at school. We use the past continuous tense to talk about a past action that was going on for a longer period or a whole period of time in the past. This may sound a bit confusing, but let's look at these examples. Ashwin was working on his science project the whole night. From this sentence, we know that Ashwin spent the whole night doing his project. We can't really tell when he started working, but we do know that he was working all night to complete his science project. We were training for our debate from January until May. This sentence gives us a clearer picture of the duration of the action because of the time frame given. We know that the training is over and the team took 5 months to prepare for the debate. We also use the past to talk about an action that was happening but was interrupted by another action. Normally, we use the past continuous tense for the first action and the simple past tense for the action that interrupted it. To have a better understanding of this function, let's have a look at these examples. Linda was watching television when the telephone rang. In this sentence, we know that Linda's leisure time was interrupted by the sound of the telephone. Faiz was sleeping when his mother walked into his bedroom. From this sentence, we know that Faiz was sleeping when his mother went into the bedroom. We were swimming in the river when a crocodile suddenly appeared. And for this sentence, we know that the crocodile appeared while they were swimming. Sometimes sentences that show one action interrupting another can also begin with words such as, while, or when. For instance, as she was getting ready to sleep, she heard a loud noise. While he was doing his homework, his sister slipped and fell down the stairs. When they were having dinner at the restaurant, Ali saw a fly in his soup. Lastly, we use the past continuous tense to describe two actions that were in progress at the same time in the past. For example, Siti was preparing nasi lemak while Aisha was baking a cake. Father was watching television while mother was sewing. The children were swimming in the pool while their parents were reading some magazines. As previously mentioned in our introduction, we form the past continuous tense with the past tense of the verb be and the ing form of the main verb. The verb be has two forms in the past continuous tense. They are was and were. In order to construct a correct sentence in the past continuous tense, these verbs must always agree with the subject in the sentence. This is where mistakes commonly occur when students try to use the past continuous tense. For singular pronouns like he, she, or it, we can use the singular verb was. We can also use the singular verb was for nouns like Arif, Sophia, or the girl. So when we write, our sentences will look like this. She was baking a cake. Sophia was cooking dinner. The girl was brushing her teeth. For plural pronouns like we and they, we can use the plural verb were. We can also use the plural verb were for nouns like Arif and Sophia or the girls. So when we write, our sentences will look like this. They were baking a cake. Arif and Sophia were cooking dinner. The girls were brushing their teeth. But what about the pronouns like I and you? What forms of the verb be should we use when constructing a sentence? For the pronoun I, we have to use the singular verb was to construct a past continuous sentence. For example, I was baking a cake, or I was cooking dinner. While for the pronoun you, we have to use the plural verb were. For example, you were baking a cake. You were cooking dinner. To test your understanding of the grammatical rules for the past continuous tense, let's identify some errors from these sentences. The sentences are, he will cry all night, and you was helping your father. Write these sentences in your notebook and try to identify all the errors in these sentences. You can pause the video until you have completed this exercise. In order to identify the errors in these sentences, you first have to identify the subject in each sentence. By doing so, you can easily pinpoint the errors without much effort. You can apply this skill while writing your essay in the future. Well, are you ready? Let's check the answers now. Our first sentence is, she will cry all night. First, we need to identify the subject. The subject of the sentence is the pronoun she. It's a singular subject. But what about the verb? Can you identify the verb? That's correct. The verb in the sentence is the word cry. Now, try to compare the subject and the verb be. Can you identify the error? If you look closely, the verb were doesn't match the subject that we should be using. She is a singular subject, so instead of using were, we have to replace the verb with was. However, this is not the only error in this sentence. Can you identify the second error? Correct. The second error in the sentence is the verb cry. As mentioned before, we have to add the ing form to the main verb when we are constructing a past continuous sentence. So the correct sentence will be, she was crying all night. Did you answer correctly? Well done! Now let's move to the next sentence. Our second sentence is, you was helping your father. Before we begin, let's identify the subject in this sentence. The subject in this sentence is the pronoun you. But what about the verb in this sentence? Can you identify it? That's correct. The verb be in this sentence is the word was. Now try to compare the subject and the verb be in this sentence. Can you identify any errors? That's right. If you look closely, the verb was does not match the subject that we should be using. But why? Even though the word you acts as a singular subject in this sentence, it is very special. It doesn't follow the same grammatical rule like the other pronouns. So instead of using was, we have to use were. So the correct answer will be, you were helping your father. If you answered correctly, then it means you have mastered the present continuous tense. Good job! I hope you have learned new things from this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Till next time, bye!